Other areas of proactive anti-fraud reviews, travel and entertainment, T&E, which we'll get to in a minute, but we're looking for things like policy compliance. Do they have a company card? Are they using it in the categories that they're required to? Are they using the correct travel agency? We're looking for things like prohibited categories. Are they not supposed to use it to buy client gifts and things like that? We can also take a look at high-risk merchants such as airfare. Although, at least lately, with the fact that most companies are going to electronic T&E, the fraud risks are a little bit different than they used to be back in the day when all you had to audit airfare were basically boarding passes. It's a little bit different now, but there can be some analytics done in that area as well. Another area is journal entry testing. Again, this goes back to the WorldCom and the Enron. You're looking for things like journal entries done by infrequent users, seldom used accounts that all of a sudden show some activity. Keyword analysis, words like plug, error, and round, those are red flags within journal entries. Also doing analytics on accrual and revenue account entries. And the last area of specific reviews we're going to talk about are T&E versus Pcard analytical tests. One of the things that we do for our clients is what we call triangulation. And what triangulation is you're basically looking at T&E transactions, Pcard transactions, and then accounts payable transactions. So you're looking for matched dates, dollar amounts across different populations. And this is, again, what Andrew mentioned earlier, that you're making sure that you're not getting all your data from the same place because you want to make sure that that data is valid and nobody's been able to tweak it before handing it over to you. But again, triangulation is where you're looking across T&E to Pcard, Pcard to AP, AP back to T&E. We're not going to do all three in this test. We're only going to do two of them, but we're going to look at T&E versus Pcard, and we're going to look for matching transaction dates and amounts. And the fraud risk here would be improper or duplicate reimbursement to an employee. So in other words, an employee purchases something on his Pcard and then decides to run it through as an out-of-pocket expense on a T&E report. Well, the merchant obviously has already been paid with the Pcard, so then that money just goes into the pocket of the employee. So to start this, we are going to take our T&E transaction file and join it to the Pcard transaction file. And we're going to name that file T&E Pcard Join on date and amount. We're going to do that through the Analysis tab with the Join button. And once we do that, it's going to ask us what fields we want to match. So we want to look for any transactions that are occurring on the same date for the same dollar amount. Again, you can set this up for different things. If you want to test different date ranges, different dollar ranges, you can do that. However, this is just going to be simple matching transaction date and dollar amount. And once you do that, you'll see that we actually have a match. So Thomas, on December 18th, 2013, put through an item on his expense report for Cambridge Catering for a meal out of pocket for $1,351.02. But lo and behold, when we review Thomas's Pcard transactions, we see that same amount on the same date with the same merchant. Does that mean it's fraud? No, but it definitely means that we need to look at it. So again, when you're doing these analytics, we're looking for anomalies, we're looking for outliers, we're looking for things that we don't necessarily expect to see. Just because something looks like a fraud doesn't necessarily mean that it is. You want to be careful that you don't jump to conclusions on that. But it can narrow your search down and your scope down so you're not looking at as many transactions, you're not looking at as many vendors, and it really focuses you in on the high-risk areas where you would need to look.